Happy Friday to all my boys out there. It's a MGTOW Friday message. So, this goes out to the world, to my wife, to myself, ex-wife, ex-girlfriends, whatever. Yeah, get it. So this goes out to my ex-wife. As a man, in our relationship, I know that I wasn't perfect. I know that the expectations you had of me weren't all realized, and the expectations I had of what I wanted to do for you weren't completely realized. Now, that's not saying that given enough time they wouldn't have been. But you were right to be frustrated by those expectations being not being met. I was also let myself get caught in a rut. You know, I fell into a little bit of depression. You know, the exhaustion of working and doing all the stuff I was doing for our family didn't seem to be appreciated. But that's not why I was doing it. I was doing it because it was the right thing to do. And because I loved my family and because I loved you. But you're right that I wasn't at my best when you decided to leave our family. But I wasn't at my worst. I was still a very functional and loving and attentive person, if just a little unfocused. But you were right that I wasn't paying or listening to our children as well as I could have been. You were right about that. Does it mean that I wasn't paying attention to them? Does it mean that I wasn't taking care of their best interest and trying to raise them? No, I was definitely trying to do my best given the circumstances, but, you know, could I have done better? Yeah, we always can, in retrospect, right? But you were right, Sarah. You were right that I had stopped 100% paying attention to your needs. I still paid attention to them, but I couldn't pay 100% to your needs anymore. I had to pay attention to our family's needs, my needs, the dog's needs, the bill's needs, everything. I had to divide my time amongst those things as part of the patriarch of our family, you know? And could I have been better with money? Yeah, I could have been better with money, but that doesn't mean we didn't have money saved and that we weren't financially secure, because we were. But, you know, you were right. We could have saved more money. I could have been better about my financial autonomy at the time. You could have even helped, which you did. But you could have helped more if you really thought it was that bad. I did definitely slack when it came to some of my responsibilities. But did I ignore them? No. Did I purposefully ignore them? No. I just got caught up, like we all do, you know. But it doesn't mean I lost my way. It doesn't mean I didn't have my eye on the ball still. It just meant that I, wasn't 100% at the time. You know. And you were right. I wasn't. I was struggling just like you were, you know, but I had faith that our family and in the strength of our family, that I could rely on that, and that, you know, it would get us through the hard times, and that we would come out better on the other side for it. But I was wrong, because that didn't happen. And just because you were right, Sarah, about, you know, some of the things. Doesn't mean you were right about all of them. And if you really want to get real with yourself, and honest about what happened, you know the truth, whether you choose to accept it or not. Does that make what happened right or wrong? In my opinion, I still think it was wrong. Not the divorce, not that she wanted to leave, but just how she did it. The fact that you spun this narrative up and clung to it like a freaking fly on, fly paper. I mean, you still cling to it as if it's the truth. I think even you now believe it to be true because you've made yourself believe it true, but it never was, Sarah. This story you told yourself and told everyone about what happened in our relationships and all that stuff, that that was all a smokescreen so that you could slip out the back and leave me to deal with all the consequences, all the baggage, so you could live your best life. And this is the thing. You want us to be men, yet you want us to be sensitive and open and talk about our feelings. You want us to be human, but yet when we are, you treat us like we're toxic. You treat us like we're needy. You treat us like we're weak, like we've somehow let you down or disappointed you. Like, I was treated by my wife as if I just was a good-for-nothing, lazy piece of shit. And maybe I wasn't 100% at the end, but I worked full-time at a job for 4 years supporting our family. On top of that, paying bills, raising our children, doing all that stuff. And was treated as though I was unreliable by my own wife. By you, Sarah. You treated me as though I was unreliable, like you just couldn't rely on me. I was no good, lazy piece of shit towards the end, right? Even though it was me who set up our health insurance, even though it was me who paid the taxes, even though it was myself who did all the bills except for the utilities. That was the one thing you got to do, was utilities. And it was so lopsided. You paid so little compared to how much I paid. And the fact that you acted like I was a good-for-nothing, lazy piece of shit at the end of our relationship is rich. Because the only good-for-nothing, lazy piece of shit I saw was you. Who helped you start your business that you flaunt now as if it was something you'd accomplished? Me. That lazy, unreliable piece of shit, right? You girls can't have it both ways. You want a sensitive, man who's not afraid to show to show off softer sides and to open up. But you don't want to listen to that. You don't want to be a part of that. That's not what you actually want. You are full of shit. You want your man to be toxic. You want your man to be controlling. You want your man to tell you what he wants you to do. You don't want it to be the other way around, because you won't respect him. Because that's not attractive. The moment my wife thought, at some point in time, a switch in my wife's mind flipped, and I went from being her masculine, husband, father of her kids, badass, to this unreliable, lazy piece of shit, drug addict, liar, abuse, you name it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm telling you guys, a woman says that she wants somebody sensitive, that she wants a man my wife did all this stuff. We gender swapped our positions too, where I was a stay-at-home house dad. And honestly, that's when she lost respect for me, is when I was doing some of the best work as a family man in my entire life, was when my wife decided our family was awful, was when it was at its strongest, I thought. Isn't that odd? How does that dichotomy develop? Because the gender roles swapped. I was the breadwinner. I came home every night after a hard day of work to her sitting on the couch, happy, knitting, kids asleep, everything. The moment it switched, the moment I became the stay-at-home housewife, house dad, and she started working, which it wasn't like she had to work. Unlike me, she got to work. I had to work to support us. She got to work. Her money wasn't a necessity for us to survive. So already her situation was different, but still in her mind, it's equal, right? She's now the one working and going out there and doing all this stuff. And I was still helping her with that. But I was mainly doing the stay-at-home dad stuff. I just went out to help her with the heavy shit, the manly shit that she couldn't do, you know? But yet still, somehow, during this process, she lost respect, attractiveness, faith. She lost it all. And by the end of it, when I tried to step back into my role as the patriarch, when I got a job and things started going back to the way they were before, which was when we were happy and when things were normal, she acted like I was inconveniencing her. You know, and just things this is what I'm talking about. You know, how does one go from the best thing that's ever happened to someone, their love, their heart, the person that they would do anything for, their husband, their wife, to this? To the bad guy, to an abuser, to an unreliable piece of shit, to a drug addict, to a bad parent, to an unattentive spouse, to a jaded ex-husband or boyfriend. Right? How does it go from one to the other so quickly with women? Because it doesn't do that with me. It's never done that with me. And I've never personally known a man that is the case with. I've known plenty of men who, like me now, have been burned and fucked over so many times that they're city boys now. They don't give an F about a woman or her feelings. And honestly, they're out there to just get their D's wet, you know? And it's not like they're looking. It's not like I'm out there trying to be a playboy, you know? Some guys do the playboy route, some don't. Myself, I'm pulling I'm doing the MGTOW, I'm doing the monk route, but you know, if an opportunity comes up to smash and dash, I'll take it, bro, in a heartbeat. And you know I'm not going to call that girl. And that's just the way it is, bro. You have created the very Frankenstein. You ladies have created the very Frankenstein you claim to be fighting. You claim to be trying to take down. You claim to be against. You know? Because most men I know, it's not like that. We can't just turn those feelings off. You don't just go from being our wives and mothers of our children to just some girl that we fucked that now we have to see every now and then. Right? Sarah, you were my wife, my soulmate, the mother of my children even. I considered you Lily's mother on many levels, you know? Like, I had to make the decision to let you be a part of that relationship. And you have to realize how big of a decision that was and how much I regret it now. You know? And to have that kind of betrayal, that kind of drastic change, you know, that dichotomy is just mind-blowing. It doesn't, for most men like myself, we don't understand that. We don't understand how, as a rational, well, let's say, fairly rational human being, how, as a woman, You can go from putting all your eggs in our basket to then taking that basket and smashing it on the ground and saying, "Why did you smash our basket of eggs? I'm leaving you." You know? How? We'll never know. I'll never know. But that's the thing, I stopped caring. I let that go. I had to. It almost killed me. You know? This is the thing. If a woman can get away with as little accountability as possible, she will. If she is given the decision between taking accountability for her actions and learning a lesson, or slipping out the back and not having to deal with it, guess which one she will take? Now, if a man is faced with that, not a boy, a man, if I was given the option, you have to choose, you have to face this. You have to learn a lesson. You have to be held accountable for your actions, or you can just slip out the back. This is the thing. If I slip out the back, I'm just going to keep doing that same thing over and over again. I'm not going to learn my lesson. And eventually, I will be held accountable either way. But how much pain and destruction will I cause? Continually going out that back door and skipping the consequences, the accountability, answering to those that I've hurt, answering to those actions that I have committed, right? As a man, I am made to be held responsible whether I like it or not. And that's the thing. As men, most of the time we'll choose to, but we don't even have a choice. We're made to be held accountable whether we like it or not. Ladies, you guys not only have a choice, you guys get the option on a regular basis, and guess which ones you choose? At least in my experience, it's the lack of accountability. It's the, I'm getting the hell out. But, as much as my wife was right about some of the things she said, and might have had a reason to feel the way she felt, doesn't justify what she did and what she's still doing. It's the thing, you ladies act like just because you guys have a feeling or an epiphany that it justifies your extreme behavior, and it doesn't. Nothing justifies extreme behavior. Nothing. It is not acceptable to act and while out, and do these awful things just because you can, okay? It's not acceptable to lie to get a better divorce or custody arrangement. It's not okay to lie to make your husband or partner look abusive or whatever. That's not okay. Whether you get away with it or not, it's not okay, ladies, and it's never going to be okay. And you know what that tells us? You know what that tells the world? You know what that tells society? Is that women, postmodern, feminist women, which is basically every woman, Western woman nowadays, has no moral fiber or accountability. You know what that means? That is the reason why MGTOW exists. That is the reason why, while this is all gonna blow up in y'all's faces eventually, and why I'm gonna be as far away from it as I possibly can. And if you're smart and you're a guy that's got his head on straight right now, you will be as far away from it as you possibly can too, okay? You queens, you boss girls, you guys, this is all I'm telling to you. You made your bed, now lay in it. unfortunately, you also shat where you ate. So now you got to lay in that too. So this is what feminism and equality looks like, right? If you don't want to, if you're done with your man or your husband or the patriarchy or whatever, good for you. Good for you. We don't want you either. Okay? So you guys just run along and do your thing and leave us alone, and we'll leave you alone. Okay? But the moment you try to, start spouting your lies and, try to say, well, I'm not responsible for this or for that, and I take no accountability or responsibility, just know whether you, acknowledge that or not, you're still responsible for your actions. And guess what? Whether you take accountability or not makes no difference, because the consequences will happen either way. Okay? So you can sit there and act like you were totally surprised by them when they finally show up, or you can take responsibility for your actions and grow the fuck up. All right, gentlemen, y'all have a great day. This was another MGTOW Friday message. Much love to all my brothers out there. Please don't let these people knock you off your path. Stay focused. And, reach out, guys. I know you feel alone. I know we are isolated. And I know even when people care and say they care, usually they don't. Usually they're just going through the motions. But don't be afraid to express your feelings. Don't be afraid to get mad, dude. Don't be afraid if it scares people. Express yourself. Okay? We are human beings, and we have the right to be angry when people mistreat us, and it's okay to let them know. Have a good day, y'all. Take care. Be safe. Much love. And I'll see you all around.